Hello everyone, TinaGale here with my Scrappy Ideas, and we're back with the second round of Scrapmingle, where new meets old, and we're working with October Afternoon Treasure Map. There was an intro video right before this one, so this is the first layout that I will be doing, and so I thought before I start I will show you the products that I did pull for this specific layout, and then we'll see where it goes. So I'm pulling out the two blue papers, and I have this red piece. I'm going to pull out this tag here, and I have the Scrapmingle overlay with the numbers and stuff that I'm going to cut down to go over that tag. And then this is my photo that I'm working with, and then I just pulled out a few of the ephemera pieces and the enamel dots. These are from the Pink Paisley Atlas collection and the October Afternoon Treasure Map pieces. So if you want to see the specific products, check out the video before this one. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to do was to get this photo matted. So I picked the red paper that was from the crepe paper pad that I had, and I'm just trimming it down to a really thin mat. I just wanted enough just to pop it off this page because I wanted to keep a lot of white space in this layout, so I'm keeping a lot of the background opened. And I'm actually going to switch it up here in a little bit, and I know most people that are my followers are going to be really shocked with this layout, so you got to stay tuned to see where this goes. So here is this Scrapmingle Lane photo overlay that I had that I've just not been able to use very many of them, but it had this number list down the left-hand side and then a little travel stamp off to the other side. So I thought it would be really cute to go over this tag that was part of the cut-apart sheet in that crepe paper line as well. And then I'm going to go back and just do some bullet type journaling on it, just kind of listing the places and which park we went to each day and all of that while we were there. So I just put a little bit of my adhesive, it was the Tombow adhesive, underneath, and I know used to we would have vellum adhesive and all of this so that it wouldn't show, but really on most of these things anymore the adhesive really doesn't show up, and so I found on this that it didn't show at all, so it was no big deal. And I really just put enough under there just to hold it in place because I'm going to lift it up here in a little bit to put the journaling when I get done. You know, I'll write my journaling in there. And I'm going to end up putting some twine through it and stapling it, so it's not going to go anywhere. So the next thing I wanted to do was just find some paper to go up behind my photo, just to add some extra color and put all of these papers in. And so instead of using large amounts of this paper, and since I'm just starting with basically 3 sheets of this pattern paper from this collection and going to try to stretch it out, so I'm just using little strips up and behind there. And so I had this diagonal stripe that was from the Simple Story Sea to Shining Sea paper that I had left, just that little small strip, so I had it. Now this darker blue is actually from the October Afternoon Treasure Map, and so that is where I'm pulling the paper from the collection, my new collection that we're starting with. And so I just have 2 little strips. I'm going to do it off to the left and at the bottom to help ground. And I will go back to this bottom strip on the blue and dovetail the end of it to kind of make a banner. And then I've pulled out a few of the embellishments that I showed you. I definitely want to get this triangle put in and that itinerary and that green label up at the top. And everything that you see on here right now around the photo is pretty much going to stay there. That top part, I'll work on it here in a little bit. I'm just taking this cut apart sheet, and it had the one card that had these banners on it. And so I'm just cutting all of those individual banners out. And I'm just going to overlap a couple of them and just put them up at the top. And at the very end, I'll take a journaling pen and just stitch over the top of them like I would if I took it to the sewing machine. This layout would have been really cute had I went ahead and taken it to the sewing machine, but I was working on a deadline, and so, you know, I didn't get to it. in this top piece, I'm just trying to get all of the different colors of my color scheme brought up in there. So I have the red and the blue, but I want to pull in some green. And so that's why I kind of had that green label up there, trying to figure out how I could pull that green in there. And then I've also decided that the white is just too white, and so this is what I was talking about. My subscribers are going to be like, oh, she's misting and she's inking and she's wetting up her layout, because this is something that I just don't do. But I decided, if you saw right before I started, there was some already blue on the cardstock, and so I had flipped it over just to kind of test. And I had taken out the two colors of blue that I have from Tim Holtz, which is Faded Jeans and Weathered Wood. And I had sit and kind of just smudged on it and kind of thought I would go that away. And I did leave the Weathered Wood as just really light, and so I did do quite a bit of it. But I wanted some bigger splatters and splotches of the Faded Jeans. And so I decided to go ahead and use the ever popular little plastic misting technique that everybody's using right now. And so I'm just squishing it onto this plastic piece that I have, spritzing it with my water, and I'm trying to get it where it's not real runny, because like I said, I just wanted some really big dots. And so I'm not like smearing it all and smushing it out on there. I'm keeping it where it's kind of like droplets. And you might have noticed I even kind of picked up the bag and let it drop off of the bag to get those drops that I wanted. And so in the end, I was really happy with that. That gave enough color and contrast to that white background that it wasn't boring like it was in the beginning. And it didn't wrinkle up my layout too bad, so I'm completely fine with how this turned out. And so I kind of cut away for a little bit, and all I've done is just adhere down all of the pieces that I had been playing with. And now I have those enamel pieces from the Pink Paisley Atlas collection, and I'm just adding in the blues and the reds and the greens around in my embellishment clusters. And the title movies, I used the Echo Park Captured Life alphabet. So that was one thing that I hadn't pulled out in the collection that you didn't see in the beginning. But I really wanted some red down there because I had so much of that blue, and then the blue inking and stuff on the background. So I really liked that alphabet, and it gave the look of the movies to me. It was a good font for that. And so I just kind of overlapped them and kind of did it on a squiggle base, and so that it would fit under there like I wanted. And I'm going to stamp my date onto this round piece from the ephemera, and I'm just going to put a little bit of journaling on that little green square down there, and I'll add my journaling onto the tag. And then I was trying to add in some flare, and I do keep the little Polaroid flare down there that I'm pulling off right now. I was trying to fit two in there, but it just wasn't going to work, so I just go back and just keep the one with the little camera. And that's pretty much all that I did. You'll see me add my little hidden Mickey with my enamel dots here in a second at the bottom, since I decided that flare was just not going to work. And like I said earlier, I'm going to take a piece of embroidery floss and put it through my tag and staple it off. And I think I mentioned in the early part where I just was introducing the products that I was going to use, I'm using a color palette from the CSI. It's number 170, and also their little prompts that they had. And so their prompts was using a triangle, and I think flare, I forgot to write it all down, flare, a list, journaling, and I don't know, but be sure to check them out. They have some great challenges, and I love their color schemes that they come up with. And so that was pretty much kind of how I got started. And I also used a sketch from the Victoria Marie Facebook page. It was a sketch challenge that she had put out, and so it matched along perfectly to go along with all of this product that I had pulled out for our Scrapmingle. Now I have a journaling pen, and I'm just doing a really loose kind of squiggle line all the way around the edge of the layout. And then, like I said, I did some stitching across the banner pieces at the top. And I'm also going to add some squiggly lines around on the very, very back pieces of paper that's behind the photo. I decided they needed just a little bit more. As you can see, I keep thinking, oh, I'm done, and then I'll pick it up and I'll kind of go back to it. But that's pretty much it, other than the journaling on that tag. So I hope you enjoyed this 5th layout of the Scrapmingle, where new meets old, and this 2nd round that we're using the October afternoon treasure map. I will be back next Wednesday for another layout process video using the same collection, the treasure map collection, along with my stash that I've already pulled and showed you. So if you have missed any of that, go back and watch the intro video before this one. And if you've missed it totally, go all the way back. So there's a playlist on my YouTube channel that you can click on. If you want close-ups or links to the products, any information, you can always find those on my blog at tiggerscrapplace.blogspot.com. And again, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love to have you subscribe. And thanks for joining, and we will see you real soon. Bye.